Hey guys, I thought I'd just do a walk around of my new little homemade pipe bomb air compressor. What it is just 1 inch pipe, and I have it teed here. It's more or less a roll cage for the whole compressor. Top is acts as a handle, and it is part of the tank. I did get this compressor for free out of from a scrapper that was recycling a fridge. When I got it, it didn't have any Freon in it. It was already cut and free from the fridge. So on the tag, it shows it was a R600A Freon, and it is a 115 volt, 60 hertz, and single phase. It shows the suction line, and this is the suction line. This is the high pressure side, and over here, this was the fill line for the manufacturer to add the Freon. And when I got it, it was crimped and soldered, so it wasn't in use in the original system in the fridge. I did make up a 1/4 inch carrying plate that traps the pipe between here and these aluminum blocks. I made up those aluminum blocks too to clamp on the pipe, which carries the compressor. And on this side here, I drilled and tapped the aluminum block for the capacitor. This is a run capacitor, so needed somewhere to put that, so that was the simplest spot for me. So then I walk around. I got the high pressure, or sorry, the low pressure side first. It just comes up and goes into a 1/4 inch T, goes up into a copper 1/4 inch copper pipe, and they're both ferro, 1/4 inch ferro fittings. Then I have on the high pressure side, it comes out 1/4 inch copper. I got it going into a 1/4 inch ferro fitting, and then it goes into 1/4 inch NPT, goes into a 1/4 inch T, and then a 2-inch nipple into a street corner or street elbow, and steps up to 1/2 inch NPT. From there, there's just a nut, stainless steel braided water line, goes up into this fitting, which is a check valve, and it keeps high pressure on this side, and this is a high pressure between the piston and the tank, and this one is also high pressure, so this is just a T, and this one comes down, goes into this relay, and there is a bleed valve, so when the compressor relay turns off, it bleeds head pressure from this line back down into the stainless steel and back into the compressor. There's a high pressure safety. This is 200 psi. And then we get down to the other side of the high pressure. So I put in this T, drops down into another street, goes into a inline pressure regulator. And what that does is any of the oil that is blown past the piston in the air gets trapped in here, and it will continue to flow into this trap, and you can see a little bit of the oil in that 1/4 inch line. So that gets recycled, put back in this side, and you can see some oil droplets in this tube. And there's a little a little slush of it. It goes back into the fill line, and at the same time I dropped it into a T, and that T goes to the bottom side, and I drilled and tapped for a 1/8 NPT, so that will put any of the oil back into the tank. On the other side, I put in a bleed, a tank relief bleed, to let go of any moisture, any water that the compressor tank or pipe ends up taking on. And from there, we walk around to the other side. So coming out of the the control, the electrical pressure control switch, we have a 1/4 inch nipple coming out to a T. Then this is the high pressure gauge. It's rated to 300 psi. And then we go into a regulator. Regulators rated at 200 psi. And then into a quick connect. So we're at 0 pressure right now. So we'll set it up and turn it on. So I have this little iPhone app, and in the shop right now it's about 38 decibel. $37, and it's pretty quiet out right now, so I'll put this about a foot away from the intake, and what I'll do is just turn it on. So I jump from 38 to 71, and I saw one other YouTuber using this. It's just a foam, dollar store foam paint roller, and I'll put that on. That's a filter. So I dropped down to 67 decibel. And then another thing I did was I just took a balloon and cut off the nipple. Now I'm at 61 decibel. And then I'll turn this around at 180 psi. That takes about 50 seconds to charge up. And then you heard the psh. That's the pressure relief valve releasing head pressure for the turnoff. So now I'll just grab a blower, which is hooked into the quick connect, and release. And you saw the dial click back on. It does that at 150 psi. And I can keep bleeding it. It'll charge back up to 180 and turn off again. Now it's about a 1.5 foot away from the intake. So watch the decibels. 58. 58 to 59 decibels, which is quieter than the average human talks. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.